Once again, thanks for joining us on our virtual draft night party here on Facebook, presented by Ticats Insurance, by my insurance broker. We have our first pick in, offensive lineman Coulter Woodmansey, offensive lineman out of the University of Guelph. And in his bio for the University of Guelph, he says he was inspired to play pro football by the very same guest I'm joined with right now, and that's Chris Van Zeyl, offensive lineman of the Ticats. That's got to be quite an honor to have a guy who was motivated to play pro football by watching your career.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of guys that I watched over the years and played with and whatnot that inspired me to become a great offensive lineman and want to be better every year, every time I stepped on the field. And that's what makes the Canadian Football League so great. You have up-and-coming Canadians that really put everything into their craft, and to hear that a guy modeled their game or wanted to be like me someday is pretty cool. I mean, I would be going in my 14th year this year, and to have someone like that say that, it's and then for him to be drafted 5th overall in the 2020 draft, that's pretty cool.
Okay, so you were drafted 3rd round by Montreal, not quite a few, sorry, that sounds wrong. I don't want to say quite a few years ago.
No, it's a long time ago.
A few years ago. What do you remember about draft night? Just kind of what happened? What do you remember about that night?
I remember I was in a room in Hamilton, actually, because I was at Mac, and we had a pretty cool draft party with a bunch of the guys at Mac, and yeah, I remember guys were updating their computers, and the names were coming up, and I think I was one of the first, if not the first, of the Mac guys that went. And I just remember being like overwhelmed, like I couldn't believe, one, that I got drafted, that I was going to be able to continue living my dream and playing football. And yeah, you don't care where you go, you just want to go. And when you get there, you get just to get in the door and have the opportunity, and then you decide what you do with the opportunity.
Last year had to have been, this time last year, you must have been going in preparing to be a Toronto Argonaut, and then to have everything happen the way it did, signed by the Ticats that day, and then to go on to win, outstanding offensive lineman in the Canadian Football League. It's not every day a 36-year-old has his best year of his career, but here you were out there. What was it about last season that just everything clicked for you?
I don't know if there was any one thing in particular. I think it was the culmination of a lot of things. I think being a part of that team, being in the right environment, being close to home. I had my son last year as well, so a little bit of added fire under the getting me going every game and every practice, every day. But yeah, it was a culmination of a lot of things. I think my coaches, my teammates, everything like that, everything goes into that. And yeah, you see the award and the accolades, but at the end of the day, you have to appreciate everything that goes into being an outstanding lineman, and that's the people around you.
You're watching the Ticats virtual draft night party. Louie B, your digital host, joined by Chris Van Zeyl here on one of my shoulders beside me. Thanks so much for joining us. Of course, it's brought to you by my insurance broker. Don't go anywhere, because between rounds 1 and 2, there's going to be a spin to win live on Facebook for everybody here tonight. We got an autographed jersey, we got an autographed football. The Ticats are also officially on the clock right now with the 8th overall pick in the CFL draft. So if that happens during this interview, we will bring it to you. But as we're joined by Chris Van Zeyl, last year didn't end the way you wanted it to. Very rarely do seasons end the way you wanted to. How do you take what happened last year and either turn it into motivation or just leave it in the past?
Like any other season where you don't finish with the Grey Cup in your hands and celebrating for a month afterwards, it's it's really tough to see teammates that have worked hard beside you, and you spilled the blood and all the cliches, like you've experienced all that with those teammates, and then not to be able to celebrate that at the end of the year. It's tough, and that motivates you the entire off season. It doesn't matter if you're second all the way to last. It motivates you the same way, I think. And yeah, I'm chomping at the bit back on the field.
We know the offensive linemen are a different breed. You guys do everything together too, right? I mean, you guys are so close. You have to have that chemistry. And now you got a guy like Coulter Woodmansey coming in here. What piece of advice do you have to him? And when you guys finally do get to embrace him as your teammate, what are you looking forward to?
You know what? It's like meeting any new teammate. It's first you kind of set the tone and make him feel like he's a part of a family and something a little bit better than, I don't know, wherever he's been, and make him feel at home so he can be comfortable and play comfortably. And then as time goes on and you build up a rapport with a guy, you kind of dig a little bit more and have some fun with them and whatnot. But the most important thing is to make someone feel welcome when they come into a team, I think.
Well, if there's one thing that offensive line knows how to do, it's have some fun with the guys. Chris, appreciate. It's really great to see you. Of course, I always like to joke I'm the second most famous person to come out of St. Alexander in Fonthill. Of course, you have the dubious honor of being the most famous person. If only Mr. McCurry could see us now, eh? Look at us.
Us Fonthillians.
Look at us. How are we doing it? Man, thanks so much for doing this. We'll can't wait to see you at the stadium. Thanks again.
Yes, my pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome. There he is, Chris Van Zeyl. Don't go anywhere. Ticats are on the clock. And coming up next, we'll be joined by Mike Morreale. This is Ticats virtual draft night party presented by my insurance broker and Ticats Insurance.